This is the guy with all the answers. Okay. So what he says about Trump is what it is when it comes to Epstein, Trump, and these girls. He's the one who represented 250 of Epstein's female victims in Florida during that period of time. So when I show you what he said, that's the end of that conversation. All right, so I got a pretty eventful video here about the Trump and Epstein stuff. I had to take one down today, infuriating. I don't even want to get into it, but you guys are going to be seeing this tomorrow. But there's a big story that is going to be in this video that was not in the one that was up that I had to take down, and that has to do with Trump's potential involvement in the Florida case, okay? And I want to tell you exactly what I mean, okay? So there are two big things here with the Epstein case. You have the original one, which he got caught for, arrested, tried, and convicted. He did a plea deal or whatever. That's the one that Acosta got him out of, all of that. But the actual details of that case are horrific, okay? Horrific. I have personally listened to multiple victims talk about exactly what happened to them with Epstein. I will describe that to you in detail, okay? And but that attorney spoke to a guy in an interview specifically about Trump. Okay, so the guy is asked, you had how many victims? It's like 250 victims. Okay, 250 victims, and that guy subpoenaed a bunch of people, a bunch of very big names in that area. And I found the actual interview when he's asked about Trump, and it's very telling. I want to show you guys that shortly. We also have Jeffrey Epstein's brother, who's back in the news, specifically talking about why it was actually and not someone doing it to him. You know what I mean? Very notable. And the big story here, though, is that Congress is going to subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell to talk about the alleged client list. And obviously that's going to involve, this is all happening because of, this implied, what's Trump's involvement. And I want to be crystal clear about this. I don't care unless he's if he never touched any kids, okay, I don't care. I want to be crystal clear about that. If Trump never touched any kids, and I certainly do not think that he did, then everybody getting laser focused on him and assuming that that's why there's a change in attitude, we're going to address that in this video. Okay, I'm going to essentially prove to you that that's not the case. Okay, with this interview from the attorney that represented the victims. But again, Congress is going to subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell to testify about the alleged Epstein client list, and this very well could expose a lot of people who definitely do not want to be exposed. I'm very curious, what's going on in the Clinton house right now, because they're panicking. They have to be. They have to be. Either that or they're making deals with, whoever was running Epstein. Whoever's running Epstein, dude, we have no idea. We don't know who that was, but, we have theories or whatever. But so we're going to go through that. And also, if I have time, did you guys hear that the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, is being referred to the DOJ for criminal charges over perjury over his $2.5 billion renovation of the Federal Reserve building? So in case you guys are not clear, the Federal Reserve is the most powerful entity in the world, and Jerome Powell is the chairman, and now he's under criminal investigation, referred over for criminal charges. It's a pretty big deal, dude. And I think that, the implication of what this could be is pretty clear, right? He lied about a $2.5 billion renovation of the Federal Reserve building. Almost like maybe it cost, $1.7 billion. It's where'd that $800 million go? I don't know. We don't know, man. We have no idea. That's why the fact that the Federal Reserve is privately owned is one of the most less understood but most impactful facts that exists on Earth. Okay, everyone's all, I understand it's a privately owned organization. You're all right. That means people own it. They're like, yeah, I know. You're all, the Federal Reserve, right, is privately owned. That means there are human beings who literally own it. They're all, I know, but if you haven't seen it, it's like Bear Stearns owns 0.001, whatever. You're all, no. The cap table is not public. Okay. The cap table is not public. There are these entities that no one knows how much anyone owns. So it's technically public. So you can see who the member banks are, but you don't know what percentage of the company that they own. Right. So it's there's thousands of banks that own a piece. Does that mean that there's not a single entity that owns 30% of the Federal Reserve? And if there was, and it was a single family that did, how big of a deal would that be if one family controlled the entirety of the monetary system? Okay. Anyway, that's for another video, but Jerome Powell under investigation also. Okay. Now, first, like getting into this interview. Oh, by the way, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you guys don't mind. We're gonna handshake it. Go ahead and like the video. I appreciate you. I don't even know why I even say this. Every time that I do a video about Epstein Trump, I lose subscribers every single time because YouTube does not show it to anyone new. No one, not a single new person is going to see this video unless you guys share it with your social media people. You know, and on the high side, I'll gain like 20 subscribers or I'll like lose 15 or whatever. I don't know. But if I talk about anything else, then it gets shown to people, but not Trump, not Epstein, none of that stuff doesn't get shown to anybody. Neither here nor there. But I appreciate you guys. If you have not subscribed, subscribing and liking the video. So this is very important context related to this story and who this guy is. All right. So what Epstein was doing in Florida in the original case, which he went down for, which he ended up, by the way, pleading to 1 count of soliciting sex with a minor for. Okay. So when I tell you what he did, what the end result was he pled guilty to 1 count, 1 of soliciting sex from a minor, and he ended up getting 12 months in jail, and he was able to come and go as he pleased 6 days a week, or he was also allowed to travel. Okay, so like the reality is he was not in jail at all. Okay, he's not in jail at all. They pretended he was in jail, right? Because let's be honest. Yeah, you have to be here, you know, like, but you can leave for 12 hours a day. And it's like, who's enforcing that? You know, if he doesn't come back, like this is a made up deal. This is someone in the warden. It's like, look, this is intelligence community, yada, yada. Same as they told Acosta who gave him that deal. But it's important to understand that that is what the end result was of the following case that I'm going to tell you about, which then this defense attorney is going to speak to as well. So what he did, right? And I'm not sure who the first girl was, but they found a girl who would have been the first one. And she was, I don't know, they're like 14, 15. All these girls were like between like 13 and like 16. Okay. And they were told that there was this old, you know, this rich guy who lived in West Palm Beach, Florida, who was paying girls for massages. Okay. Very similar to, you know, whatever his fucking name is in Hollywood, except those were, you know, aspiring actresses who were at least, you know, adults. So he was paying $200 for massages, which is a lot of money to these like kind of grimy white trash chicks in the area that they were getting them from. So these girls would come to Epstein's house under the auspices, believing that they were going to get paid $200 to massage some guy. And they're like, I've never done a massage. Oh, that's fine. It's fine. It's Ghislaine Maxwell, who's the one who's kind of like recruiting them. Or in later iterations, she would be the one who would like meet them, introduce them, like make them feel comfortable, and then send them to Jeffrey Epstein. Okay. So the girls would come there, Ghislaine Maxwell would meet them, greet them, and usually after the first one, there would be a girl who recruited them. Okay, that's where this is going. So the guy, you know, they would get there, Jeffrey Epstein would be there, that Jeffrey Epstein would be completely naked, the girls would be told to get into their underwear, and they would think that Ghislaine was going to be there with them, but Ghislaine would leave. Okay, so they were there abandoned, completely alone, and then Epstein would turn them out, right? So, and if you don't know what turn them out means, it means convince them to, you know, or force them to. You know what I mean? In a lot of cases, these girls had never done anything like this before, like virgin girls who had no experience at all. What the fuck were they doing there? You don't know. Well, in many cases, they were recruited by other girls who had done this previously. So once, you know, like once Epstein had like turned them out, you know, he would act like, oh, you did a great job, you know, like great job, girl. These are like little kids, dude. Okay, my daughter's 13. She's like a year for the, like they're retards. Like they're fucking retards. Okay. They could very easily go from like, oh my God, like this, I'm being the victim of a crime to like, oh my God, I did good in like 1 second with an intelligent, manipulative person like Epstein. We're talking about a guy who entraps the smartest people in the world. What do you think he can do to a teenage girl? Twist their mind into nothing. You know what I mean? So once they were done, he would send them out. He'd be like, you know, I really like to get this, and he would incentivize them. He's like, if you go find other girls to do this, we'll give you $200 also. And this turned into this chain letter thing to all the way to when they had 250 fucking girls that did this. Okay. It destroyed their lives. Like I literally watched interviews of these girls in the Netflix documentary about this. And when they talk about it, you're like, Jesus, man, it's horrifying. I remember the one girl was like, she, you know, she's older now. Like this happened in the early 2000s. So she's like, I don't know, 40, you know, like mid to late 30s now. And she's like, I just remember that I was a like a bright flower at the time, and it's like that happened to me, and it was like someone took me as that flower and smashed it and smashed me into the ground. They made me into a dirty, like I became dirty, and then they just took my flower and smashed it into the ground. And I could never shake that one off, dude. Like I could never shake that one off. the way that she described it, you could just see it's like they're not being dramatic, dude. Like if you have daughters, you'd understand, or like if you have a sister or whatever, like a younger sister, someone that you get, like a girl that you can look at and see like what real innocence is. Like you can just look at them like what real innocence is. All three of my daughters are still completely in that category, 100%. And so it's like a person taking that from them is like, I can't. So all those girls ended up together in a class action lawsuit or whatever. There was 250 of them. Okay. Do you have any idea how many fucking victims that is and how many counts that would be? Because a lot of them did it multiple times. You're talking about 1,000 counts probably, right? One count of soliciting sex from a minor. Okay. That charge is for people who did not actually have sex with a minor. Okay. It's a horseshit charge, which is every bit of it was all horseshit, right? Now, this guy who was trying to get justice for the victims spoke to Trump. That's who this is. Now watch this.
Just listen to this.
As a lawyer and your experience, is there anything you can say?
Pretty important. And of course, the implication is that Epstein was trafficking these girls to other powerful people who lived in Florida, like other big name people, is the assumption, right? Like that's why this is all relevant, okay?
As to the validity of those claims, or whether or not there will be any more about that.
Nothing at all. The only thing that I can say about President Trump is that he is the only person who, in 2009, when I served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people that I wanted to talk to them, he is the only person who picked up the phone and said, let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what you need to know, and was very helpful in the information that he gave.
Thank you.
And gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward whatsoever, but had good information that checked out and that helped us, and that we didn't have to take a deposition of him.
And that was in 2009?
That was in 2009. So,
do you know if there's any truth to James Patterson's claims that Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago?
I've definitely heard that.
Okay,
So there you go, dude. And I've actually seen a longer version of this video of this interview, and he specifically asked him. He said, so was Trump implicated in anything related to any of these victims, these hundreds of victims? Was Trump implicated at all? He said, absolutely not at all. Okay. So if you have like a family member, if you have like a family member that's sending you all this shit like I do, like yesterday, I did the video yesterday about not even doctored, AI generated, the AI generated picture of Trump with Epstein and whatever, show them this. Okay. Show them this. And be like, well, what do you have to say about this, dude? Okay, you're looking at AI pictures as if this is like evidence of crimes. I mean, I don't have any idea why Trump's acting weird. I have no idea whatsoever. What I know is that this dude is in the know on what happened during that time in Florida. And according to him, not a single one of his victims implicated Trump at all. Nothing. And he said that Trump was super helpful and he helped them. Okay. Does that sound like a guy who's probably dirty on these kids? I don't think so. Okay. But now moving over to this thing. So Jeffrey Epstein's brother says it was not, he was murdered, not, whatever. You can't say that word, by the way. That's why I'm, talking around it. So Epstein's brother, Mark, is calling bull on the story. His brother we'll call that, went swimming, right? Committed, whatever. That his brother went swimming back in 2019 when jailed at the New York Metropolitan Correction Center, insinuating his death was by someone doing it to him. I think I could say homicide, actually. Check out his Monday interview on Crime Stories with Nancy Grace. He says while he at first had no reason to doubt his brother ended his own life, his mind immediately changed when he spoke to the forensic pathologist on the case. Mark claims both pathologists came up to him following the autopsy and said they couldn't call it a gone swimming because it looked too much like a homicide. He finds it suspicious that both people conducting the autopsy hesitated labeling a gone swimming, but that nothing of that sort is noted in any federal documents that he's viewed. Mark also doesn't understand why his late brother would do that before finding out if he was going to be offered bail, allowing him to take refuge in his home. Excellent point. He warns that every American citizen should be concerned, adding, here you have an American citizen who was killed in prison under federal protection. That should disturb everybody. You guys know what I think. Walked out the front door. As you know, the manner of the convicted offender's death has been widely debated since he was found dead in his jail cell. The Department of Justice's official report says he hanged himself from the top bunk of an orange cloth not long after he had previously attempted to end his life. Circumstances surrounding his death once again sparked debate in recent months as the public urges the federal government to release the Epstein documents related to the case, including the alleged list of his clients in existence. Okay, like, I'm sorry. I can't. I literally cannot listen to them call this a list of his clients, because I just like, we already have that list of people that we like. What do you want them to tell you? Okay. Like, we know who flew on the jet. We know who he was friends with. We already know all that stuff. Okay. The only thing that I want to know is who touched kids. Okay. And the only people who know that are probably in Tel Aviv. You know what I mean? They're probably like this list. Again, what do people expect to see in the list? Okay, like, if you're talking about Trump, we know Trump was friends with him. We know Trump chased chicks with him back, in Florida in that video, whatever. But like, it's not illegal to chase adult women. You know what I mean? It's not illegal. And if there was any implication that he would have been touching kids, don't you think that the attorney that represented the kids who got touched would have wanted to get him? That, like, why would the victims protect Trump? Think about that. Like, why would any of the female victims who were teenagers protect Trump? They wouldn't. Of course they wouldn't. So if the lawyer who represented 250 accusers is like, he's clean, what does that tell you? Okay. Now, I am definitely not saying he's completely clean, because it's possible they have him on like money laundering or something. Okay. Like, Epstein moved a lot of money around. He did a lot of weird stuff, dude. There's a lot of different ways that you can get dirt on people. That's what I was trying to say yesterday, okay? Like, Trump is a billionaire. He moves money all over the place. Is it possible that Epstein helped him kind of like juke some kind of business deal? Maybe. I don't have any idea. I have no idea. Is it possible that Epstein helped like someone that Trump cares about? His neighbor or whatever. Like, sure, possible. I don't have any idea, okay? I don't like when... like, I don't even like throw rock, like, even Clinton. It's like, okay, like, Clinton, he flew on the jet like 27 times. He's like, come on, like, come on, right? You got pictures with the known victims and Clinton getting massages and stuff like that, right? Now, the pictures of Trump with Epstein were fake, right? Those were fake. We went over this yesterday. I know people didn't get like the part of the video where I talked about them being fake, but like, they're fake. They were AI. That was the whole point of the video. But like, the fact that he was able to compromise some people with kids does not mean that is the only way that people can get compromised, right? Or that if you think that Trump is acting, shifty on the whatever, that means he's compromised. Period. It's very possible that what he's talking about is that he has the entire file of, the Epstein files, and it came from Comey and they juked it. Like, I talked about this on my live stream last night. The other side of the conversation is like, Comey is the one who gave us the file. If she gave you a file and it's got a bunch of Trump stuff in it that they fabricated, then he's going to act exactly like he's acting now. He's going to be like, okay, everybody just shut up about Epstein. Because they're like, this is everything we have, Mr. President. Like, think about it like that. If they're like, hey, Mr. President, this is everything we have. There's a lot of stuff that has your name in it right here. But like, we've looked into, there's nothing really credible here. Then when they're like, hey, but everybody wants us to release the list. What do you think Trump's going to do? He's going to be like, dude, just shut this whole thing down. We can't trust any of this information that's in this file because Maureen Comey's the one who gave it to us, and it's all bullshit. I know it's bullshit. I know it's bullshit because this stuff about me is bullshit. Do you know what I mean? It's like, there's no way to know exactly what is going on. There's just no way to know. All I know is that anybody who touched kids needs to go down. And even if it's Trump, I don't think it was. I don't think Trump has any fucking with kids, dude. Okay? This is the reality. Rich people will always reveal their sexual preferences. Okay? Really rich, famous people will always reveal their sexual preferences because they can have whatever they want. Again, that's how we know Drake's a creep. Trump likes adult women. But again, I think Epstein walked straight out the front door. Alan Dershowitz says feds should cut a deal with Ghislaine Maxwell for Epstein info. I totally agree. 100% agree. But yeah, we're going to do a whole other video on Ghislaine Maxwell, though. Believe that. Believe that. Anyway, that's what I got. Love you guys. Bye-bye. So one day after we just discussed the Russiagate thing for the first time about the Obama thing and all that, the next day, now Senate Judiciary Committee is dropping a bombshell that the FBI, about the FBI's Clinton cover-up, and they're declassifying and releasing the long-hidden Clinton annex to the public. Let me show you what we're talking about here, okay? Oh, this is, by the way, Trump is saying that the DOJ needs to target Obama directly, and Obama has responded to what Trump's allegations are. But check this out. The Department of Justice just confirmed that President Obama ordered the FBI to shut down the Clinton email scandal. Do you know how big of a deal that is, guys? Like, do you understand how big of a deal that is? And then FBI Director James Comey followed orders and buried it. Okay. This is what's so crazy. You know what they're going to tell you? They're going to be like, let's just say hypothetically that you could get behind closed doors with Hillary Clinton and Obama and these people, and you were like, all right, so explain your side of the story, right? They would be like, dude, it was that important. It was that important that Donald Trump did not win the presidency. And you'd be like, why? What are you talking about? It was so important that you what? Well, I kept Hillary Clinton out of jail so that she could become president. You kept Hillary Clinton out of jail so that she could become president. That makes sense to you. Well, yes, because the alternative was Donald Trump, and he said that my birth certificate was fake. Your birth certificate was fake. You guys uploaded a fake birth certificate to the website. That's what you did. That's what you did, right? So we're going to get into the details of this story. And also, Tulsi Gabbard has now gone on Fox News. This was less than an hour ago. And she's got a lot to say about what's going on here, and the criminal referral. All of this stuff is all coming out together. Like literally the Russiagate stuff, the Clinton email scandal, all of this stuff is all coming out. And by the way, if you're not clear where this is all going, this is all going to go to them stealing the election in 2020 is my guess. My guess is that is where we are all going. But first I want to show you this, like this story, I literally cannot even explain to you what this story did. This story burned my blood. My blood was boiling inside of my veins. Okay. So I got a big problem with some people in this story. So we're going to go through this story. Then I got to tell you about some people I have a bone to pick with. And then I'm going to go through the Clinton email scandal, reopened, big barn burner, going to be good because, if anybody has any questions about like whether or not there was dirt going on in the Clinton email server, dude, like, come on, grow up. 100%. Okay. Why else would you have that server in your house? And we don't even need to get into it, but check this out. Okay.